What's going on, y'all? It's me, your boy Myles, aka Little Gap, here with my boy King Tesfai, aka the man, the one and only Yohannes Tesfai. Y'all go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We'll put the handles down below in the description. Let's get into it. So, topic right now. We're in the midst of the NBA Finals being uh, birthed. We got a match between the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. Who you have winning the whole thing, Yohannes? Let's just off the bat. Who you think's gonna win it, bro?
Hey man, yo, listen, I got the Phoenix Suns in six, baby. I would say four, like the
Mm.
homeboy Nick, whatever his name is from this little scuffle.
Uh
But
yeah.
I got him in six, bro. And here's why. You look at Giannis's health, right? I know it's not an extreme injury, it's a hyperextended knee, but that could play a factor in his athleticism. I mean, that's what he, goes off of anyways. But I feel like the Suns have had time to just be ready for whoever comes out of the East. A, B, these guys are for real, know how to adjust and stop their opposing star players like LeBron, like Jokic, like Paul George, in a sense. But the key factors, man, DeAndre Ayton, you got to stop Giannis in the paint, man. When he's down there, bro, you gotta play bully ball with him. CP3 and Booker got to go off on the offensive end, bro. Drew Holiday can stop one. The other is probably going to be guarded by Middleton, I'm assuming, but he's too slow to catch up with both of those quick guards. But that Phoenix's bench has to play with momentum too, man. Torrey Craig, Cam Johnson, Cameron Payne, they got to keep playing the way they've been playing in order to beat the team. But so I got him. I got him in six, man. What about you, bro?
Well, I would love to see that happen, but I'm gonna have to go with Milwaukee in six, bro. Let me tell you why. You gotta keep in mind the difference in this, like you just said, is Giannis. If he stays healthy, then you got a two-time MVP that can dominate inside for you playing. Now, the Phoenix Suns are not a team that you're gonna. They're a team that you have to beat. To quote Kenny the Jet Smith, you have to beat that team. They're not gonna make mistakes. Chris Paul is known for not having turnovers, and Drew Holiday can force the issue, but like you said, he's one body. But as we can see, in a different reality where this team doesn't have Giannis, this team plays together. There's less paint. There's less paint presence being occupied by Giannis. That allows Brook Lopez's game to open up, and he had that game, that 30-something point game that he did. I want to say back in, what was it, Game Five, or yeah, Game Five. So when that happens and this team learns how to play together, they're one of the best teams. They're solid defensively. They can stop. They match up really well with Phoenix in the regular season. Phoenix won both games, but it was like at the last shot because this team matches up so well defensively with them. Chris Middleton, he has to have at least three all-star or superstar performances if he wants to get that title, which I think he's capable of doing. And Drew Holiday, he's the most consistent player on the floor, in my opinion, for the Bucks because he's played solid on both sides of the ball all season. And I think that they have a good enough depth to be able to match up. They got Bobby Portis. They got excuse me, not DiVincenzo. I'm thinking about of course I'm blanking on the player's name,
Pat
but he's a
Connaughton.
very yeah, Pat Connaughton. You already know who I was talking about. So a good defensive player in him as well. And then they have 3-point shooting as an option. That wouldn't be my go-to option, but they can kill you from the outside. They were one of the best, if not the best, I think the best 3-point shooting team percentage-wise this year. So, and don't quote me on that. If I'm incorrect, hey, it is what it is. But I know they're at the top. If you go check Basketball Reference, but these guys can play, and they have a two-time MVP in their team. So I feel like that's only an added addition because Giannis isn't going to want to take away from that. He's only going to want to add when he comes back.
Let me ask you this, man.
Yeah,
One thing I've seen with Giannis being out is Brook Lopez has played a lot in the paint.
yeah, where
And
he's supposed to
when
be.
yeah, right. So I'm thinking, what do you think of Giannis returning? Do you think Brook Lopez needs to spread the floor and have that paint open for Giannis, or do you think they both need to learn how to play in the paint together? Is that going to clog the paint too much for both? Or
Well, and this actually brings me to my final point. It's a perfect segue. The coaching needs to improve. Mike Budenholzer has to step up with his adjustments because game to game, even quarter to quarter, his adjustments are not the best. So he's going to have to figure that out. It's ultimately up to him and the coaching staff how they're going to rotate. They could go old school, have somebody in the block, have somebody on the elbow, play that high low. They could play the pick and roll with Yohannes and Brook. And I know Yohannes isn't the greatest pass in the world, but I've seen them run those type of plays before. Or you can try to keep Yohannes on the low post, have him move out. Um, you don't want I don't want Yohannes in the corner, but that pick and roll between Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez is sometimes unbeatable. And when it becomes a bench situation that second unit's in, and they sometimes like to keep Drew Holiday on the floor and to keep to put Brook Lopez out there, they can run Frank Kaminsky off the floor at that point. I would see them doing that. It would be a smart idea. Or what's his name? I'm blanking on his name from the 76ers that came to the Suns. You know who I'm talking about. Um, so they can definitely make it work. It'd just be a matter of adjustments and however they run it. There's a million ways to do it, and I know Phoenix likes to play solid defense, but they'll switch every time. Switch most of the time, and it can end up being fatal if they end up playing it incorrectly. But I don't doubt Monty Williams will account for that already. So like I said, it's a chess match at this point.
Yeah, I think both teams honestly have. I don't think either team has a clear advantage over the other. I think it's going to come down to coaching, like you're saying. So,
Yeah,
um, so I mean, me personally, man, you know, the whole basketball world, we're talking about legacies, right? I mean, we got Chris Paul and Giannis, two guys who haven't had slander toward their legacies, but have always had that, hey, they haven't won a championship, or they've choked in the playoffs, or had whatever. So seeing
yeah.
one of them win a championship is going to be huge. But which player do you think needs a championship more right this moment, that needs to win this finals?
The player that's going to be most effective legacy wise is definitely going to be Chris Paul. CP3's been in the league for 16 years, has had a Rookie of the Year award, countless All-Star MVP, and all that he really needs to top it off is a chip. And if he gets Finals MVP, that makes him the second greatest point guard in all time in the league, in my opinion. So I say he has the most to lose, but of course, if Giannis does come up short again, they're gonna say, "Oh, his team plays better without him anyway. He's a two-time MVP, empty calories, whoop whoop whoop. The regular season is not the same as the playoffs." And then people say, "Oh, Giannis shouldn't have re-signed that with the team. He should have went somewhere else." And that's gonna be that. But how do you feel about it, man?
I know I feel the same exact way. I think Chris Paul deserves a championship more than Giannis, just because he's had that, those years after years after years with injuries or bad luck or whatever it is. Plus, I think this is his best chance of winning a championship. I mean, they played a Lakers team without AD and LeBron being hurt, played a Nuggets team with Jamal Murray being hurt, played a Clippers team with Kawhi being hurt. The likelihood of going back to the playoffs and playing three straight teams with superstars being down, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But regardless, I think him making the finals, even without a championship, is going to solidify him anyways. Because you have point guards like a John Stockton, who've had great resumes but not won a championship. But Giannis is only 26, man. I mean, if he loses, he'll get that knock just like every superstar who doesn't win a ring. But he has time to win a championship. So ideally, Myles and I, basketball fans for a long time, man. I think we both want to see Chris Paul win a championship and just solidify his career, like Myles said. So
Yeah, I'm truly a fan of Chris Paul. I definitely want to see that from him, and I think it would do so much for his career and his legacy. If I was him, straight up, I would retire right after if I won. Straight up, go out on a high note. I'm done. I don't want to have to go through none of that again. But he's a competitor, so I know that'll never happen. Um, but one thing a lot of people don't talk about after it's all said and done, how's this going to affect these franchises, man? Think about it. Milwaukee's a small. They're both considered small market teams. So what happens? What type of pieces you think might move if, let's say, Milwaukee loses this and it's the Suns title? Like, I guess I could go from the Suns angle after you're done, but what do you think will happen afterwards for those franchises?
Oh yeah, man. That's a great point. I think win or lose for Phoenix, I think it's just going to make Phoenix an attractive destination going from a team that didn't make the playoffs to making the finals itself. And you see how happy and the team is and the chemistry is there, and you got a great fan base and a fan in that Sons of Four, Nick guy, like that, having like guys and just that culture. So I think that players will want to join that culture, win or lose in the championship. However, Milwaukee's a different story. I think they have to win the championship. You know, if they lose, you can look at it at two angles. I guess. I mean, you could say that Milwaukee hasn't made the finals in X amount of years, and they, progressed and whatnot. But I think that they gotta definitely reconstruct pieces, and I don't know how Giannis would feel about staying in Milwaukee long term if they lose the Phoenix Suns. And remind you, man, I mean, they're going to play the Brooklyn Nets next year fully healthy. You got Philly who's going to make adjustments and teams in the East that's going to make adjustments. So regardless, I think if they lose in the finals, they got to make major construction moves in the staff or with players. So that's how I feel.
I yeah, you're coming from the same place. We think so much alike. So I think with Milwaukee, this is the worst case scenario. Mike Budenholzer goes, and Giannis is unhappy. He doesn't want to be there anymore. That's very possible. I mean, as a two-time MVP, I got to clarify regular season MVP. You definitely aren't going to be happy being in a situation where you feel like you can't win. You fought tooth and nail and still couldn't get the job done. Ooh, excuse me, sorry. That's not going to look good for the franchise, and being a small market team, they've got a great fan base. Honestly, the Deer District looks like a place I would want to party at one day, and I think that they could be an attractive place for players to go. But like I was touching on earlier with that coaching, I know players see that. I don't think that they will be super eager to join, especially if Giannis isn't going to be there. And we got to see what happens. But for the Phoenix Suns, they're, let's be real, they're in a warm state. I want to say Arizona's tax free, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but it's a good situation. It's a great situation for you to actually have a family down there, and it's a great environment to play in. The culture is, especially if CP3 stays, hell, if they win, um, it'll be even better, more impactful. But if since Monty Williams got there and CP3, like you said, the culture is just, they have an identity, and that's something that a lot of teams don't have, unfortunately. But I think it will be a good situation where to lose, like you said, for Phoenix, just to regurgitate your point, and for Milwaukee, it'll be way more adverse effects. But ultimately, you got to be proud of your team. If you are a Bucks fan, stick with them, go to the game still, because you know, these teams they feed off of that too. It'll be really interesting to see, especially going into the finals. I'm excited, man. I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
I'm super excited.
I honestly, bro, I agree with you, and I don't think there's a real clear cut answer as far as who wins the championship. I mean, both teams have been playing well, and both
Yeah,
teams, nobody's gonna be surprised if either team wins. But let me ask you this: you think Chris Paul stays regardless, win or lose, in Phoenix? I know he was looking for a 3 year, supposedly a 3 year, $100 million contract. Do you think
rightfully
that?
so.
Yeah. Do you think he stays in Phoenix? Takes that
Yeah,
declines the player option and takes.
he bought a house out there, so I think he stays. So yeah, if he's looking for a 3 year, $100 million contract, that'll run him what about 80? Am I doing math correctly? I don't even know what the percentages would be, about 63 something million a year. So then hey, he deserved it. They gave it to Kobe at the end of his contract. We still paying his family. But you know, I'd say he comes back, and if they can run it back and try to win another title, then that's only going to end up helping them moving forward. So to show them that they got to take care of their players.
Boston, you guys got to make some room. and get Chris Paul, man. We got Kemba out of there, man. We need a leader. We need someone. We need a player that could stop Kyrie and other great point guards in the East, man. Because I
Oh my
damn well don't
God.
want Marcus Smart or Peyton Pritchard as our starting point guard, man. But
And comment CP3 to the C's in the comments if you
oh
got to this
man,
part of the video.
hey man, I know this is not part of the topic, man, but there are a lot of pieces in Boston that gotta go, man. And we need a
CP3 to
solution.
the C's.
Oh man, that would make me happy, bro. That would make me happy, man. Oh, I'll be the
Nah, it's
first
too
one to buy a
cold up
jersey.
there. Hey, well, looks like we got through all the topics for the episode today. Thank you guys for joining us. If you got this far, if you did get this far, again, put CP3 to the C's in the comments and show us that you made it this far in the video. Like I mentioned earlier, go ahead and follow us on all of our socials. We'll put that down in the description. And hopefully y'all rock with us. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know how you really felt in the comments, and we'll see y'all on the next one. It's been a little gap.
King Tesfai, baby.
See you on the next one.
Yes, sir.